Hello all, Captain Octotroph here. I don't know why I introduced myself as Captain. For anyone outside of the Discord, they wouldn't really get that. What I have here are my 11 molds of coins, which you may have seen me showing off on the Discord previously. Got like a double-sided one here, the one that I was practicing buffing on. Actually, if I flip it this way, yeah, there we go. When I was practicing polishing on, please focus, thank you. Oh wow, just focus. Sure. A couple others that have bad molds. This one didn't actually set. It's still malleable even now, like a couple weeks later. So I just kind of glued it to this as a base. Now I got this. So I decided I was just going to make a really short video, or a relatively short video, on how I deal with this. So this is just, let me see. Oh, the box is turned around. It's a really cheap or inexpensive mold making medium that I got at like Michael's, regardless, with some 2-part resin with a third part of brass 125 mesh powder. Basically, it's 1 to 1 to 1. And this has been curing for 22 hours, so it should be ready to come out. So all you do is flex the mold. I also did a scrape so that it doesn't bubble over, and we get this. There we go. And I can already see there are some bubbles here, even though I was vibrating it. So what I would do with that bubbles is I take a round file and I just stick it right in there and spin a bit, and then spin a bit more, and that just makes it into like a proper nick. And I would do that for all of those. And then once that's done, I take some quadruple zero steel wool here and a magnetic dish so that it catches all the steel stuff, and I just rub over it, and that makes it slightly shiny, hopefully. I'm going to unmold the rest of these. This has a kind of like a solid back to it, but if I flex, that solid back should just come out, or be able to be bent and like this. And I can just tear it away, hypothetically. So what you can see from the mold here is like there and there. It's a big bubble. So basically what that means is this thick pour did not end up, I guess, vibrating for long enough, even though I had it vibrating for like a half an hour. So with this you can just tear it pretty easy. Make them separate coins. And even as they are now, they are still very malleable. So what you actually want to do is store them upside down on a flat surface. I just kind of set it off camera here. I'm using some Pokemon cards, well, 2 stacks of Pokemon cards as a hands-free base thing for my phone. So store them upside down. This way, if the back isn't level, it will reform correctly to the front. So you store it upside down, face down, I guess, for another 48 hours, basically. I now move back to improve focus. And this one is also malleable, but only slightly less so because it's a bit of a thicker pour. So just tear that one off too. Set that down. Press down a bit to make it, settle back to the right shape. I will clear off this flash after it's finished setting. This is the most recent attempt at the mold. It still didn't cure all the way properly, and you can actually tell that it's not entirely level, thanks to the back not being entirely level. So this is a bit of a higher point, this is a bit of a lower point, so yeah. But the texturing, because of the uncuring, is different, or because the stuff didn't cure all the way. The mold making stuff didn't cure all the way. The texturing is going to be different, which is new and interesting. Also, the coin recesses, focus please, are deeper than this, so they make thicker coins. This way when I do the scrape, it doesn't come out really thin. So you can actually see that one versus that one. This is just a much thicker coin, which I think is good. Technically, this is the original coin. I did have to sand the back down a bit. Pardon the dog barking in the background. Technically, this is still thicker than the original coin's supposed to be. But I'd rather have more material and sand it down than less material and need to add on to it. See, so that's thinner. It's not really easy to add on to it, so what I'm probably going to end up doing with these thinner ones is sand them to half the thickness, glue two of them together so that I can get the same double-sided token here, which is still thicker than the original. It doesn't want to focus. If I do that, there we go. It's still thicker than the original. It's about as thick as this, actually. It's actually thicker. But yeah. So I just wanted to show what it was like taking them out of the molds that I made. I do make the molds out of something like this, where I print it all in one go. Pardon, this one's very dusty. And also, see this red bit? So this is the first print. So this fits in there. Upside down, clearly. The coins are just the normal depth. But this shiny red bit, that's still uncured because it's just not, So basically what happens, let me actually explain it so I'm not assuming you know. What happens is, this is a 3D print. And when the resin that 3D print is made of is uncured, the mold making material also doesn't cure all the way. So when it does that, you get this stuff left over here, and it is like underneath all this dust here as well. And that's what causes this texturing. See that there's a big gouge there, some roughness there, roughness there. This texturing is all from this uncured resin being left, or this uncured mold making stuff being left behind. So Smooth On recommends you cure it for 6 hours, and my little Elegoo Mercury thing only runs for half hour at a time. So this I had attempted when I had cured it for like 2 hours, and it still has some texturing, like, kind of around there. So I've been kind of running it whenever I remember, and I don't have something else to cure. Oh, it's got a little dusty. that'll come off. So hopefully it's cured all the way by this point, and I can actually get a fully cured mold. This back's a little thicker than the other one. There we go. So basically that's what I do. And you can see the texturing on this in reverse here. There. Oh, I forgot to mention. So when I'm cold casting, because that's what it's called, where you do the 1:1 ratio, I also dust the inside of the mold with the brass powder. By the way, wear a mask. Don't get this stuff in your lungs. It's bad. I dust the inside of this. That's why there's like some dust here and definitely some dust on the back here. And by dusting the inside, I am making sure that instead of it looking like this, it looks like that. And it just creates a surface of brass that you can then buff and whatnot. So that's what we got. I hope you found that educational. I guess I'm going to be uploading this one to YouTube instead of just straight to Discord because it's like 12 minutes long now. I don't expect to make these kinds of videos often. This is kind of a one-off instructional. Maybe I will show off how I did this. Or maybe I'll record myself. I know, move back to improve focus. Hang on, let me just pick up my phone because, you know, I don't need two hands for this one. Hello. Maybe I will record my screen while I'm designing something. I don't know. I make no promises. This is just chrome pens that I got off of Amazon. It's not the best work, but it could, you know, it's good for now. Alright, that's all there is to that. Thanks for sticking with me. And if there's a next time, I'll see you then. If not, then you'll find me on Discord, I'm sure.